We see this mentality in friend groups, at work, between coworkers, even amongst family members and siblings. But I am going to challenge this mentality and say nobody is your competition. Let's find out why. Now, this is something that we drastically underestimate, but nobody is your competition because we are all so diverse, drastically, exponentially, magnificently intricate and nuanced. Each person is extremely unique, down to the wire unique, with their personality, their upbringing, their life experiences, their family life, their influences, their proclivities and dispositions, their mental health, why they might choose to do something over another thing, their passions, their values, their boundaries. Everybody is so extremely unique. I even looked up that the cell processes that are happening in our bodies are wired completely differently based on each individual. And we all know that our DNA is infinitesimally different and diversified. We may have the appearance and overall semblance of sameness. We may feel like on the surface that there is a lot that unites us and there's a lot of similarity. And of course there is. But when we look behind the surface, we see how deeply and profoundly nuanced we are.
So with what I have shared right now about everybody who exists in this planet being so completely complex, dynamic, diverse, and nuanced, you could easily say that competition is an illusion. And an example I will take from this is the other day in my dance class, I noticed that there was a man at the back of my class, and he was dancing but very offbeat, and it was really hard for his body to attune to the beats and the rhythm of the music. And no matter how much he tried, he just couldn't do it. And then for someone like me, I feel like music has very much been a part of my upbringing, my culture. Perhaps it's even embedded in my genetics, some kind of musicality. And so if a man like that and someone like me were up against each other for some kind of competition, he wouldn't have a chance. And who knows what his background is, but music obviously doesn't come naturally to him, quote unquote naturally, because there's so many factors as to why something would be natural for someone else. All this to say is that whether it's your culture, your genetics, whether it's your upbringing, whether it be like your personality or something you are inclined towards over somebody else, already the competition is not fair. If you believe in a concept of competition, or it already would be unfair because one person is quite at a disadvantage. And even if the two individuals were more at the same level of things, whether it's skill, whether it's culture, whether it's lifestyle, whether it's talent or gifting, there's still going to be areas or elements or aspects that are slightly nuanced in different pathways that they can't even be compared at all. So I feel in a way that what we call competition may not truly exist, because how do you compare things that are different? Even if they are different and the nuances and variations are slight, there are still differences. I feel like a fair and true competition would be to have somebody with the exact same genetics, exact same personality, exact same background, exact same upbringing, exact same trauma, mental health, inclinations, talents, giftings. If you got two people somehow with the exact same ability level, then maybe that's the only way a competition would actually be fair. But then you could also say maybe the very essence of competition is the fact that there are these variables that are not fair, and that is what we have deemed competition in our human experience. Anyway, we can talk about this in so much depth. I think we can go on and on, but I'm gonna leave it here that in a sense then competition is an illusion.
Another reason I will give for why you're not in competition with anybody, and this one is more psychological, is that what you feel or think is competition may very well just be your ego. So our ego is that part of our mind that preserves and protects our identity and our sense of self. And it is very protective. And the ego is entrenched in survival mode. The ego is wired to survive, and therefore it perceives threats very quickly. This is all evolutionary and how our brains and our psyches and our mentalities have developed over years and years and years. So sometimes the ego struggles to coexist with others, to accept others, to love and support and encourage others, because it is propped up and wired to survive. So if you and a coworker are going after the same position at work, or sometimes in family, siblings have a lot of competition amongst each other, there are factors that the ego is picking up on, environmental factors, different things that it can easily detect and perceive as threats, and therefore make you feel, keyword feel, make you feel like you are in competition with someone, when truly deep down underneath the surface, that is actually what is happening. From that, you are feeling at odds or have an antagonistic spirit or mindset towards what you are perceiving to be a threat. So ego-driven competition is extremely sneaky. It's that feeling like, I need to do better than them. I need to get that position so I can feel value, worth, so that I can feel better about myself. So that would be like ego-driven competition, whereas what would be a healthier perspective is seeing someone that has qualities or a way of doing things, or maybe perspectives that you are inspired by and you admire, and you look to them and you're like, I want to embody that quality. I want to embody that work ethic, because I feel that that would make me a better person, that would enhance my development, that would enhance my growth, that would enhance my character, and it would bring me on to a better stage of life. So that's a healthy mindset, because it has nothing to do with the other person, like I have to be better than them, I have to usurp them in some way. You understand that you and them can coexist with your strengths and weaknesses, and it's not a threat. You don't perceive that other person or what they're doing or how they're living, their character, whatever it is that you want under competition, you don't perceive it as a threat. So an example of this from my own life is I have a coworker, and I'm someone who's very observant, and I notice that the way he works is the way I would want to work. Like, he is someone that he's not afraid of a challenge. He will go out of his way to talk to someone in that specific department so that he finds out the answer. He gets to know people in other departments so that he can understand that department better and the way they do things, and report that information to our department. For me, I am someone who can be quite reserved and quite shy sometimes. I see what he is doing. I am inspired by that. I see how that can really enhance my life. And I want to say, putting that out there in terms of this whole conversation about competition, that everything you see in the world is for you. It is to grow you. It is to enhance your life. It is to inspire you. It is to encourage you. It is for you to appreciate. It is for you to feel motivated by the beauty and the value and the quality of that thing. So you never have to feel like, if you see something that is different from you, that's something, if you see something that is different, or maybe to you is a bit strange, peculiar, you've never seen or done something that way before, challenge yourself not to perceive it as a threat. Challenge yourself to look at that thing, whether it's a person, a way of doing things, a way of thinking, a way of believing, and say, how can I use those ideas to enhance my life? Because promise you, babe, everything is here to enhance your life. And I feel like if you look at life in that way, to be inspired, motivated, and encouraged by what you see around you, you're not going to understand competition the same way. You're not going to see things as a competition, as a threat. You're going to be like, now how can I learn from that? How can I use that to grow my character, to increase my stage in life, to bring abundance to my life? Needing to be better than someone to increase your own value and worth, and feeling like they need to be put down, you need to ascend over them, that kind of mentality is coming from a place of scarcity and lack. When your sense of worth or value is dependent upon someone else being lower than you, someone else failing, someone else messing up, then your value is not intrinsic, and your value is not independent, and your value is not this element that exists on its own. It's then connected with someone else. It's almost like a codependency in a way. And our value, our worth, our beauty, our character, it is all within. It is not connected or dependent upon this thing succeeding, this thing failing, this thing me being better than another person. I believe those ways of thinking are limiting beliefs and falsities that function to only disconnect us from each other and separate us. Everybody has their own beliefs about life. You might be a religious person, you might be an atheist, but I truly believe that we come from the same source, from the same consciousness, from the same creator, if you will. I believe we come from the same place and from the same power. And because I have this belief, I really feel that I believe that we're not in competition with each other, because we all come from the same place. In a sense, we are different manifestations or different forms of the same greatness, of the same beauty. You could call that God, you could call that the universe, you could just call that matter, whatever it is. But we all originate from the same thing, and yet we are so drastically and diversely different. We're all different iterations. And what I'm trying to encourage and say here is this beautiful interconnectedness, universality, and humanity that we possess. We are all connected to each other. It's kind of like this idea of the butterfly effect, like one thing affecting each other, and we are all linked like a domino effect. We are all intricately wired together, and we need each other. We need to be inspired by each other. We need people to be, we need to be able to look up to other people and to see something beautiful and to see something different and to be inspired by that thing. We need other people to be inspired by us. We need our moments of weakness. We need our moments of perceived failure. We need our moments of setback. And who's to say it's any better or any different from another person? We are all in this together, and we are all one. What do you think? Please comment down below. My name is Imo. This is my channel, In My Opinion, and if you are interested in more on-the-fly takes like these, please like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Bye!